North Korea chose its moment carefully. The spectre of regime change in Caracas, haunting Pyongyang, seemingly as it responded by testing missiles, and that test was overseen by Kim Jong Un. Pyongyang launched ballistic missiles towards the sea, a timing that appears far from coincidental. North Korea's state media describing the launch as a demonstration of the readiness of its nuclear forces. Kim Jong Un declared that recent tests showed his country is preparing for an actual war. According to the Korean Central News Agency, these activities are aimed at taking North Korea's nuclear deterrence to a high developed level. In fact, state media images reinforcing the message. Kim Jong Un, flanked by senior officials, calmly smoking as a missile roared into the morning sky. This visual was designed to project control, confidence, and defiance. Kim Jong Un referred to Maduro's capture as geopolitical crisis, saying that Pyongyang has long feared a similar decapitation strike. And the Venezuela episode appears to have reinforced those anxieties. North Korea even condemned Maduro's capture as a serious violation of sovereignty and called it rogue and brutal nature of the United States. This was Pyongyang's first ballistic missile launch since November, when it tested weapons following President Donald Trump's approval of South Korea's plan to build a nuclear-powered submarine. The latest test also comes as North Korea continues to develop hypersonic missiles, advanced weapons that can travel at more than 5 times the speed of sound and can maneuver mid-flight, making them far harder to detect and intercept. This launch also coming ahead of the South Korean president's visit to China, where he is expected to seek Beijing's help in re-engaging Pyongyang and lowering the tensions on the peninsula. For North Korea, the timing is also domestic. A rare and landmark Congress of the ruling Workers' Party expected in the coming weeks. It will come for the first time in 5 years, with economic policy, military strategy, and nuclear development all set to dominate the agenda. Tonight, the world is getting a clear and consistent message from Washington. Obey or else. President Trump is once again projecting the image of a strongman leader, warning allies and adversaries alike that economic pressure, diplomatic coercion, even military threats remain very much on the table. From trade to war crimes, from tariffs to sanctions, the Trump doctrine appears simple. America sets the rules and the world falls in line, at least they hope. Speaking aboard Air Force One alongside U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham, Trump doubled down on his warning of steeper tariffs on Indian imports, even as he praised Prime Minister Modi and highlighted the complexity of the India-U.S. relationship.
They wanted to make me happy, basically. He wanted to. Modi's a very good man. He's a good guy. He knew I was not happy, and it was important to make me happy. They do trade. And we can raise tariffs on that very quickly, and it would be very bad for them.
The warning comes despite ongoing trade talks and a recent telephonic conversation between the two leaders aimed at preserving bilateral momentum. Tariffs as high as 50%, remember, have already disrupted negotiations. Economic partnership comes with conditions. Senator Graham has even claimed that these measures are the primary reason India has cut back on Russian oil purchases.
We put a 25% tariff on India for buying Russian oil. I was at the Indian ambassador's house about a month ago, and all he wanted to talk about is how they're buying less Russian oil. Would you tell the president to relieve the tariff?
Now, while Trump continues to wield tariffs as a tool of pressure, the question still is looming over Washington. Can he afford a prolonged trade war with India? New Delhi is not just a major export market, remember, but a strategic counterweight to China and a key partner in defense, technology, energy. Escalating tariffs risking undercutting U.S. businesses, disrupting supply chains, pushing India to deepen ties with other global powers. And these tariffs also raising huge doubts over whether such economic coercion will actually deliver gains, or will they create lasting strategic costs? Let's now shed more light on all of this. Recently, Trump shared data showing which immigrant groups use welfare in American soil, and India was not on the list. That's because Indian Americans are among the highest earning communities in the US. Studies showing they rely very little on public assistance and pay significantly more in taxes. Experts say Indian Americans are net contributors to the economy and are often called welfare makers and not welfare takers. They also play a key role in job creation. But the pressure does not end with trade. Trump is also seizing on protests in Iran to float the possibility of U.S. military intervention, remember. And this has even sparked backlash from the Republican Party's America First faction, increasingly uneasy with what they see as an interventionist turn in foreign policy. At the same time, the Trump administration is threatening expanded sanctions against the International Criminal Court. According to a report from Reuters, it has warned the court to halt its prosecution of Israeli war crimes and even change its founding statute. All this to ensure that President Trump and his officials remain out of reach of international law. Relations with Nigeria are fast unraveling. The Trump administration and its allies are accusing Abuja of failing to protect Christian communities, with talks of possible U.S. military intervention drawing fierce pushback from Nigeria. The escalation has driven U.S.-Nigerian relations to their lowest point in decades. From Asia to Africa, from global courts to global markets, Trump's tactics hinting that this is an era of unapologetic pressure politics. Iran continues to stand on the edge. A wave of anger fueled by soaring prices and frustration with Iranian authorities has stretched the protests into a 9th straight day. The streets are turning deadlier by the hour. Security forces and demonstrators continue to clash. The violence has already claimed at least 20 lives, including 3 children. And this unrest now spans Iran's major cities, from the capital, Tehran, to the Persian heartland of Shiraz, deep into western regions where the movement has taken a strong hold. Protesters continue to chant against the authorities, and amid all of this, Iran's judiciary has sent out a sharp message as well. While stating that people continue to have the right to protest, it made it clear that it will offer no leniency to quote-unquote rioters. What started out as outrage over the cost of living has spread to 78 cities across 26 provinces. Reports say more than 222 locations have been seeing marches, sit-ins, labor strikes. Police have arrested close to 1,000 people. At least 40 of them are minors. Much of the momentum centering in areas home to Kurdish and Lur communities. In fact, in response, the government now promising financial relief. Officials say reportedly every citizen will receive a monthly allowance, roughly 1 million tomans or $7, which will be credited to their accounts for 4 months. At the same time, Iranian leaders accuse the United States and Israel of trying to fracture the country. A new banner near the former Israeli embassy showing coffins wrapped in US and Israeli flags, warning, quote unquote, watch out for your soldiers. The banner threatens the United States and Israel that Iran could have their soldiers killed if they take military action against it. Against that backdrop and amid the escalating tensions, Iran has conducted an announced missile launch and air defense system test exercise, including in Tehran and Shiraz. The IRGC is yet to issue any official statement confirming the nature or the scope of the military activity, raising the most pertinent question: is Iran preparing for war? This comes amid reports that the US and Israeli leaders could use the ongoing protests as a weapon to target Tehran.
Actions or statements raised by figures such as the Prime Minister of the Zionist regime or some radical American officials regarding Iran's internal affairs amount under international norms to nothing more than incitement to violence, incitement to terrorism, and incitement to killing.
The war of words does not even stop here. US President Donald Trump has warned Iran that Washington will respond forcefully if more demonstrators die, as protests stretched into a second week. remarks that further heightened tensions after U.S. strikes on Iranian nuclear sites in June.
We're watching it very closely. If they start killing people like they have in the past, I think they're going to get hit very hard by the United States.
Israel's Prime Minister saying his country stands with Iranians demanding change.
Israel's government, the State of Israel, and my policy, we identify with the struggle of the Iranian people and with their aspirations for freedom, liberty, and justice. It is very possible that we are at a moment when the Iranian people are taking their fate into their own hands.
A 20-year sentence for rape and life imprisonment for killing a journalist seems to matter precious little. In the Indian state of Haryana, Gurmeet Ram Rahim Singh, the man convicted of these crimes, has been released from jail for the 15th time since 2017. 15th time now. This rape convict heading spiritual sect, Dera Sacha Sauda. He has billions of followers, including a significant number of Dalits across Haryana, Punjab, Delhi. He is believed to have sizable political clout and has routinely backed political parties during elections. For instance, reports suggesting that he has asked his supporters to back the BJP in the 2024 Haryana Assembly election. Reportedly, he also made films, produced music albums, remember. When he was sentenced to 20 years in jail in 2017 for raping 2 of his disciples, riots broke out in North India. Over 30 people were killed, hundreds were injured. Since then, he has been incarcerated in Haryana's jail. Despite these grave offences, he has been temporarily released now from jail for 324 days since 2017. If we look at the timeline now, he got parole in 2020 and 2021 to visit his ailing mother. Weeks before the 2022 Punjab Assembly election, he came out of prison for 21 days. In the subsequent years, he was let out again for routine reasons. His release in October 2024 and January 2025 also became a controversy, of course. It was very close to the poll dates of the local elections, after all. And today, once again, he left jail for a 40-day period, 40 days. India's opposition parties up in arms. People's Democratic Party chief, in fact, called it a travesty of justice. Congress accusing the BJP of protecting him. Considering that temporary release from jail is granted at the discretion of the state government officials, a critical question hanging in the air: why is the ruling BJP government of Haryana providing royal treatment in a way to rape and murder convict like him? Will electoral benefit trump justice and public safety? The ruling government has a lot to explain. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.